Welcome back to the Professor's Lab. I'm Professor V, and this is some free play that happened at Die Hard Games on April 24th, 2025. If you didn't know, Die Hard League happens every Thursday at 6 p.m. Central, featuring casual and tournament play of whatever format everyone wants. Destined Rivals pre-releases start Saturday, May 17th at 1 p.m. League Challenge, May 29th at 6 p.m. and League Cup, May 31st at 12 p.m. All Central Time, all at Die Hard Games. Go see more info in this video's description and check out Pokemon's event locator for premiere and other events at the shop, such as League Challenges, League Cups, pre-releases, and more. Please hit that like button right quick, subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications, say what you need to say in the comments and all that other good free stuff. But anyways, let's research this game. On the left, we have Hops Pokemon, Hops Zacian. On the right, we have Ends Pokemon, Ends Zoroark. It looks like our player on the right, the Ends player, went first, starting with Darumaka in the active. They nest balled for Ends Zorua, attached darkness energy to it, and passed. Then our player on the left, the Hops player, started their first turn with Hops Zacian EX in the active spot, attached darkness energy to it, benched, have a Monkey Dory, Hops Cramorant, and ends Snorlax on the bench before or after a professor's research to get more resources into the hand, and their turn will continue on. Thank you for your patience as we hop into this game. Get it? And a Postwick gets put into play now. I guess we could start talking about all these combo pieces that the Hops deck have. Also, before we get too far into this, please keep in mind this is free play, not official play. Our players are going to be playing very loosely, maybe look at their prize cards, maybe take some things back. Of course, with both players' permission, as it's free play and playing to learn and learning to get better. But anyways, the Hop Zacian in the active spot can attack for 30 damage and then put 30 damage on a bench Pokemon. But all these Hops Pokemon have these combos that work together. For example, the Hop Snorlax on the bench has the ability Extra Helpings. Attacks used by your Hops Pokemon do 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon, and the effect of Extra Helpings doesn't stack. Of course, only one Extra helpings at a time. The Postwick Stadium, of course, is another combo piece to the Hops Pokemon. Attacks used by Hops Pokemon do 30 more damage to the opponent's active Pokemon. So we've got that Hop Zacian dealing 90 damage currently to the active Darumaka for a knockout with its attack Insta Strike, and then 30 damage to the bench Zorua that gets promoted into the active spot on the right, and play resumes there with a Buddy Buddy Poffin. Now, that item card allows the player to search their deck for up to two basic Pokemon with 70 HP or less to put onto the bench, and they're going to establish two more and Zorua on the bench. We've got to get the army of Zoroark, the trading army, rolling. That is the big strength to the deck here. Our player is going to take a look through their deck, see what other resources are there, what might be prized, and make sure that the double Enzarua is the correct choice off of this Buddy Buddy Poffin. That seems to be the case here, as the Darkness Energy gets attached to the active Enzarua. End's Castle gets put into play, giving all End's Pokemon free retreat. And we're just revealing the hand because it looks like either way it's going to be a Professor's Research next. Yeah, Professor's Research after the shuffle from the Buddy Buddy Poffin is a supporter for a turn to discard the hand and draw 7 fresh new cards, hunting for that End Zoroark now and a relevant Pokemon to put on the bench. End's Pokemon to copy their attack with the End Zoroark attack, of course, that we'll get into as it becomes relevant. As they're trying to work out this Ultra Ball here, we can look at the Ends Zoroark attack. Night Joker for 2 Darkness Energy to choose one of your bench Ends Pokemon's attacks and use it as this attack. So copying a Zorua attack for like 20 damage is not ideal, so we want to get something like the Ends Reshiram on the bench to do a little bit more damage. And our players trying to work out this Ultra Ball here. Remember, the players are taking a little extra time in this free play practice session here. So you can see the prize card is getting flipped face up to save some time. Save the time of prize checking the deck and then make these Ultra Ball discard decisions a little quicker. Looks like N's Castle and Professor's Research will be the targets for now. I don't think it mattered too much because the hand's going to get thinned down pretty far this turn anyways, and resources will have to be sacrificed to get this N's Zoroark into play. So we could start trading and hopefully find that N's Reshiram. I think that's the Pokemon that N Zoroark wants to copy attacks from this turn at least. Just the active N Zorua can be evolved this turn is important to note, as a Pokemon has to be in play for at least one turn to be eligible for evolution here in the Pokemon trading card game. Ultra Ball now searching the deck for a Pokemon, basic or evolution, and that N Zoroark will be found, evolved in the active spot, and then a Buddy Buddy Poffin will be played from hand, allowing the player to search for two more basic Pokemon with 70 HP or less to put on the bench. It's probably just the third, or the fourth, should I say, N Zorua at this point. Just one target to be picked. Definitely don't put the Budu down, I think was the debate there, since the Hop Zacian can ping 30 to the bench. Oh yeah, of course, target the fancy art Zorua with that Ultra Ball earlier, or Zoroark, excuse me, with that Ultra Ball earlier. Remember, extra patience here with our players working things out in this untimed, no time limit free play session. I think the boss's orders was a discard earlier instead of one of the two cards discarded after Ultra Ball. Is why that hit the discard pile there. I'm going to loosely follow along here, so let me know of the anything too crazy going on. Oh, okay, that was a trade, actually, never mind. Um, Getting a little, our players knew what was going on, but I didn't. As the N Zoroark uses its trade ability, discard a card from hand to draw two cards. So there we go. The boss's orders was discarded to draw two cards, and then luckily that N's Reshiram was found and put onto the bench there. Lucky, well-trained N Zoroark there. Not really too much else to play here, as the N's Zoroark EX Night Joker attack is used to copy one of your bench Ends Pokemon's attacks, and the target is going to be that Ends Reshiram and its Virtuous Flame attack for 170 damage to the opponent's active Pokemon. Being dealt here, putting on the pressure, keeping it up as our Hops player starts their next turn over on the left, attaching a Darkness Energy to the bench Monkey Dory. Love the Monkey Dory in this deck in particular. So you guys will start to see that Monkey Dory Adrenabrain ability being used now to move 3 damage counters from one of the Pokemon on the left to one of the Pokemon on the right. So minus 30 damage from the Hop Zacian, and put it on the active N Zoroark. I think I would like to see it go on to maybe one of the bench and Zorua, and maybe our players correct that later, but we'll see what happens here, as the Arvin is the supporter for turn now, allowing the player to search their deck for an item and the tool card to add the hand. Nest Ball is the item, and that gets used to add a Monkey Dory to the bench. The Hop's Choice Band is the tool card to be grabbed off of the Arven, and that'll be attached to the active Hop's Zacian. Now, the Hop's Choice Band says attacks used by the Hop's Pokemon this card is attached to cost a colorless energy less and do 30 more damage to the opponent's active Pokemon. Wombo combos here. This damage adds up quickly. 30 turns to triple digits and out of nowhere. As an energy switch is used now to move a darkness energy from the active Zacian to the bench Monkey Dory. The other bench Monkey Dory, now another Drenabrain being used to move 30 damage off of the active Zacian. And gonna put it on a bench and Zorua. And yep, like we talked about earlier, instead of the first Monkey Dory in this free play game, instead of the first Monkey Dory, Adrenabrain targeting the active, we're gonna put the 30 on the Enzarua that first time and then 30 more on the Enzarua the second time. So that way the Hops Zacian and its Insta-Strike attack can clean up the bench Enzarua for a prize at least. That, I agree, was the optimal play there, so definitely do that in our training session here as the Postwick Stadium comes down, countering the Ends Castle, plus 30 damage. The Hops Zacian Pokemon are doing with that stadium, along with the Choice Band, along with the Snorlax. And you get the Monkey Dories involved. Man, that's a lot of damage out of nowhere. So there we go. Insta Strike dealing 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 120 to the active, and then 30 to the bench Zorua with all the damage on it to knock it out on the bench. It's exactly what the Hops trainer wants to be doing here as our Zoroark player on the right starts their next turn, evolving into a N Zoroark EX on the bench now. Double trade online. And with the N's castle gone, the N Zoroark will have to pay manual retreat to get to the bench if that Zoroark in the active wants to be preserved. But we're going to have to get that N's PP up and involved in order to power up another N Zoroark EX. So yeah, that's what I think is the best thing for our Zoroark player to do here. Retreat to the bench, prize denial, right? As we see our first trade, discarding a Ns Darmanitan, a Darumaka. Which one is it? Ns Darmanitan. Discarding that to draw 2 cards, and an Ns Darumaka is found and reestablished on the bench. Remember, playing with prize cards face up, at least for now, to save some time with the prize checking and consideration in free play. Another trade is available if that's the best next action in this sequence, and it is. Discard an Ultra Ball to draw 2 more cards. Did we get the trade train going and find another Zoroark EX? There is one prize, but this list plays the 4-4 line. As our player consults the board, trying to better inform their next decision here. Debating on the Pheasantipity EX now. Because there was a KO taken on the opponent's last turn is the debate on this Pheasantipity EX. You bench it if you want, if you need, let's say, to draw more cards this turn right now. Otherwise, the Pheasantipity EX is a potential 2-prize liability. Our player decides, yeah, I think you want to find that third ends Zoroark EX right now if you can, because you saw what just happened to a vulnerable 70 HP Zorua on the bench. So bench that Pheasantipity EX, then play the Iono. That supporter has both players shuffle their hands, put them at the bottom of their deck, and then draw cards from the top equal to their remaining prize cards, 4 and 6, respectively here. Do that before the flip the script to get as many resources and options in your hand. The Darumaka goes upside down just to remind the player that they did just bench that this turn. It's not eligible for evolution right now, this turn. So our player eyes up their hand and the discard pile, downloading as much info as they can to better inform their next decision. There's the NPP up and energy in hand, so that play is available to our player to retreat and attack with a fresh Zoroark EX this turn. The basic prize denial strategy in the Pokemon trading card game is fundamental for sure. Players just assessing their hand and the board here, taking their time in the free play game. Shout out to the players that love to do that. All right, attach an energy to the bench Zoroark EX ends. PP up will accelerate a darkness energy to that ends Zoroark on the bench. Zoroark EX does have 2 retreat costs, so it can retreat. It's kind of a hefty cost, but is the prize denial worth it? As our player busts out the little calculator in their pocket that they always carry. Do some math here, taking everything into consideration as they retreat into that freshly power up and Zoroark EX. Then probably another Night Joker. I think that copying Reshiram's Virtuous Flame attack will take the KO, but not before Pheasantipity EX flipped the script to draw 3 cards since the opponent took a KO on their last turn. Assessing the new cards in their hand now. Don't think there's too much more that needs to be played this turn. They would have loved to have found that third Zoroark EX to give that Zoru on the bench a lot more HP. Save the PP ups. You could play one to start attaching to the bench Zorua, but if that goes away, then it was just wasted. So Night Joker copying Reshiram EX's attack to clean up the KO on the Hops Zacian EX for the 2 prize cards. I'm sure we're going to see our player turn the prize cards face down again, shuffle them up, and take 2. As Hops Cramorant on the left moves into the active spot and play resumes there. It's time to go cramming. But first, a Pokegear 3.0 to look at the top 7 cards of the deck. Grab a supporter you find there and add it to the hand. It'll be an Arven. Arven will be played instantly to find a Hops Choice Band tool card, and then an item card can be found as well. Our player on the right needs to take 2 prize cards. I'm sure they'll get there. Debating on the item card to grab here on the left. It'll be a Nest Ball to build the board more. Nest Ball finds a Tatsugiri to add to the bench. The Hops Choice Band gets attached to the active Hops Cramorant. And we've got the attack live with the Cramorant now. I think they're going to find that because I think it's only live when the opponent has 4 3 prize cards remaining. Earthen Vessel now discards a card to search the deck for 2 Darkness Energy to add to the hand. One of them gets attached to the bench. Hops Snorlax, starting to build up that threat. And there we go. 2 prize cards finally taken on the right because that Hops Cramorant and its Fickle Spitting attack requires there to be 3 or 4 prize cards remaining for that attack to do something. It looks like they're attacking with it now. Fickle Spitting 120. If your opponent doesn't have 3 or 4 cards remaining, this attack does nothing. And of course can use it for free because the Hops Choice Band reduces the Hops Pokemon attacks by colorless energy. Fickle Spitting costs colorless energy. It could be used for free for, let's calculate the damage here before our players do. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Wow. For free. 210 damage that Hops Cramorant is doing, I believe. We'll double check here what our players put out. Yep, 210 damage. If that fancy damaged and Zoroark didn't retreat, that would have been a KO. Either way, the next turn starts on the right here. And let's see how ends Zoroark can respond. There is already a KO on board, but again, they'd like to do it probably with a fresh Zoroark EX if possible. No hand disruption on the opponent's last turn with something like Iono, so I think there was at least one Ends PP up in hand there. So our player on the right consults the board and deck list to better inform their next decision. They're just chilling here at Pokemon League on a Thursday with some free play here, testing out these new trainer decks. I believe it's the player on the right's first game with the Ends archetype. So we have some kind of hold up here, some kind of discussion going on. So we'll let our players take their time here so they can give us the highest of quality of gameplay that they can. And this End Zoroark deck can amass huge hands with all the options. That's just the power of trade, drawing cards, and card advantage in the Pokemon trading card game. So yeah, that's definitely what our player wants to do. They're mapping out now, what do I want to do this turn? Think I want to knock out the active Hops Cramorant. How many choice band are gone? Because they just realized that Snorlax is a threat now, since the Hops choice band reduces the attack cost by 1. That Snorlax can be swinging this next turn with just an energy attachment, 1 energy attachment. But I think the Hops Cramorant is the thing that wants to get KO'd. The Monkey Dories would be nice too. But if you don't leave any damage counters on your opponent's side of the field, then they don't matter as much, I suppose. All the things our players are probably trying to work out with each other. Is this a trade? Probably going to trade this Nest Ball away since the bench is full. Not before evolving into Ends Darmanitan on the bench. Trade away a Nest Ball, draw 2 cards. Ends Darumaka is found, and that could probably be traded away since the Darmanitan is established. So yep, second trade. Draw 2 more cards. And that third End Zoroark is found. Trade number 3 is online. So we need Ends PP up, double of those as we trade away another card to draw 2 more cards, excuse me. Either 2 Ends PP up needed or Ends PP up in Darkness Energy to do that move again of retreat and attack with a fresh End Zoroark. No KO was taken on the opponent's last turn, so no Pheasantipede EX flipped the script for our Zoroark player. Ends Darmanitan offers a pretty good attack as well to the End Zoroark, but not relevant currently. Probably just wants to copy ends. As we see double ends, PP up, accelerate 2 darkness energy to the bench. Ends, Zoroark EX, the fresh one. Still is an energy attachment per turn if desired with that Night Stretcher. That's what I think our player might be debating right now, but there is no obvious target currently. So retreat that Zoroark in the active does into a fresh Zoroark from the bench. Anything else to do but attack. Take another prize card. Nope. Night Joker, a copy, ends Reshiram attack for knockout on the Hops Cramorant for another prize card. As the Monkey Dory slides into the active spot on the left, and play resumes there. First Night Stretcher brings back the Hops Cramorant from the discard pile to the hand. It gets put onto the bench. Darkness Energy gets attached to it. Monkey Dory retreats into that Hops Cramorant. The Fickle Spitting is online still, with the opponent having 3 prize cards remaining for the 210 again, I believe. Or is it just is it 30 less than that? 180, I think, is currently on board with the Fickle Spitting because there's no choice ban this time. That's why we needed the energy attachment as well. It looks like our player on the right has dipped. So our player on the left is waiting for them, I believe, as they check out the opponent's discard pile. We'll fast forward here a little bit. Thank you guys for your patience here in this hyperbolic time chamber we got going on. All right, player's back, so I'm sure play is going to resume with an attack. Yep, Fickle Spitting for 180 this time, I believe. Into, again, a fresh Zoroark. Zoroark player's been lucky enough to keep that chain going. Running out of damage counters, though. If only there were dedicated recording dice that were provided that these players could use. Right, the Fickle Spitting for 180, and then the Zoroark player on the right, and Zoroark player, should I say, starts their next turn. There is some trade fodder in hand with the Buddy Buddy Poffins, since the bench is full. When discarding and drawing cards, you do have to be mindful of the remaining deck, but we're going to see a trade away of that Poffin, discarding it to draw 2 more cards, get some more options in hand. There is another Poffin in hand. I don't think the player is going to worry about establishing more Zorua or Budu or low HP dudes for the rest of this game. So you could probably get rid of them. The Buddy Buddy Poffins pretty confidently. So there we go, second trade, discard the second Poffin, draw 2 more cards. Oh, and we've got this Professor Turo's scenario play going on now. You probably cannot do it to the active. You probably do it to a bench Zoroark after, one that's traded already. So third trade, eyeing up this Ultra Ball to be discarded. So we see that happen to draw 2 more cards. The Turos hasn't been played yet. It's just being put on the board in free play to kind of map out the turn. But the Turos scenario allows the player to put a Pokemon on the field into their hand, and we're seeing that now. Essentially healing off all that damage, re-benching the end Zorua. kind of scary having that low HP dude on the bench still, but gotta do what you gotta do. As the ends Zoroark EX copies the Reshiram's Virtuous Flame again for knockout on the opposing Cramorant for another prize going down to 2 as Tatsugiri flops into the active spot on the left and play resumes there. All right, Earthen Vessel is the first play on the left, discarding a Postwick to search the deck for up to 2 basic energy to put into the hand, just a single darkness found. You probably want to be swinging with a Zacian Hop Zacian EX since it has a lot of HP at this point in the game, though putting another 2-prizer in play allows for an insta win with 2 prize cards remaining, but can the Zoroark even swing for that much? Either way, Tatsugiri uses attract customers since it's in the active spot to look at the top 6 cards of the deck. Put a supporter card you find there into your hand. Shuffle the rest back. It looked like it was double boss, but not must have not been what that player was looking for as they just fail the attract customers and shuffle things back up. Let's see, the Hop Zacian has even the 230 HP, so on the bigger side of the basic Pokemon EX, as energy is attached to the active, and then we hit the Siono disruption for the opponent. Both players shuffle their hands, put them at the bottom of their deck, and then draw cards from the top equal to their remaining prize cards. 4 and 2 in this instance. Oh man, and just not a lot going on that side. There is the rescue board, so you could preserve the energy attachment, I suppose. Oh, and that energy would be nicer on the Monkey Dory, but we had to do it. We had to pre-Iono. Rescue board attached to the active, giving it free retreat. And then counter catcher is live since the opponent has taken more prize cards to bring up the ends Reshiram in the active spot to kind of try to slow down the ends player. That Reshiram does have 2 retreat cost. So this could work as the Tatsugiri retreated into the Monkey Dory, of course, on the left. And just a pass back over to our ends player. I think they're looking for exactly Prime Catcher. So trade away the counter catcher since you're so far ahead. Draw 2 cards. And oh my gosh, research and Prime Catcher off of that well-trained Zoroark. So Prime Catcher will be played, the pink Ace Spec card that acts like a Guzma, bringing up a Pokemon from the opponent's bench, targeting down that the main threat over there that our player decides is a Snorlax EX, bringing it into the active spot. And then you do the same on your side, putting that Ends Reshiram back onto the bench, bringing up a charged up Ends Zoroark EX into the active spot. Do they play the research here is the question. If the cards in hand could be discarded and there's enough cards in deck, then sure. It just depends on those 2 things, mostly. As our player checks out their discard pile. Trying to better inform their next decision. I think I've seen a Defiance Band in hand. No, that's the research, and then there's one more card. So you could play down the Defiance Band. It looks like it's a Darkness Energy. Okay. So we're going to attach the Darkness Energy to the bench, Zoroark EX. Debating on where to put this Defiance Band. Spread the resources and put it on the Zorua, it seems. And then play Professor's Research to draw 7 fresh new cards, discarding 0 cards. No fist bump, sadly, as the Zoroark EX is found now. Now I bet our players wishing they had put the Darkness Energy on the Zorua. I wonder if they will decide that's optimal and switch things up here. Either way, they've got a trade ready to go. Yeah, it looks like our players are talking about that. that it made more sense as we're pretty likely to find the Zoroark EX off of the research. So pre-research attach the Darkness Energy to the Zorua as well as the Defiance Band there, then do the research is what happened. Both players are agreeable to, is that both identify that as the optimal play in this situation. Okay, nothing else to do but attack, copying Virtuous Flame, I'm sure, for another KO, going down to one prize card here. And Arvin is the first play for our player on the left. Uh-oh. It's going to find an item and a tool, and the tool is that Technical Machine Devolution. It's going to be a two prize turn for our Hops player on the left here. Countercatcher is the other card that'll be found. Even better that our players identified the optimal energy attachment that last turn, as Countercatcher is live and will bring up the Pheasantipity EX. I wonder why the player chose that instead of the Reshiram, because the Pheasantipity is easier to move with its one retreat than the Reshiram with the two. Maybe just setting up for future, since we're going to go down to two prize cards here on the left, and then we want a easy two prize knockout already in the active spot for the end game. Let me know what you think in the comments there. I probably would have went for the Reshiram myself, but let me know what you guys think. That's my quick thoughts, but we'll move forward here as the Technical Machine Devolution is attached to the active. Energy attached or not, I'm not going to go back. It's got the energy needed to use the devolution attack. That devolves, puts the highest evolution on your opponent's board back into their hand. Two of the Zorua with all the damage on it will be KO'd. So we see that happen here with that devolution play. The Darumaka should go back in hand as well, but that's just going to get put right back down on the Zoroark's player next turn, just like this Zoroark. So nothing crazy going on there. So re-evolve the Darmanitan, re-evolve the End Zoroark EX, and then our players, our Zoroark player thought that was game by attaching to the active and retreating, but they assumed that there was two energy on that bench, Zoroark EX, and there actually was not. So our players are gonna correct things here shortly, I'm sure, and figure out, okay, if I didn't have the win, if I didn't have this powered up Zoroark on the bench, what's gonna be the best play to take me through, last another turn and allow me to claim victory in this game. So not actually going to attach the reversal energy to the active. Actually going to play a Night Stretcher to bring back a darkness energy from the discard pile, put it into the hand, attach it to the bench Zoroark EX, and then play an Iono. Where both players shuffle their hands, put them at the bottom of their deck, and then draw cards from the top equal to their remaining prize cards. Though the Zoroark player just gets one here, the bonus or the benefit of disrupting the opponent is outweighs the card disadvantage they would have there. So disrupt the opponent and then pass as we slowly work towards this Zoroark EX attacking. As the Monkey Dory on the left retreats into the Tatsugiri. Tatsugiri then in the active spot uses its attract customers ability to look at the top 6 cards of the deck. Choose the Arvin supporter that's found there. Put it into the hand and then play it. Search the deck for an item and a tool. A Hops bag. It's being eyed up as the item, but our player reconsiders and takes a look through their deck and goes for the Hops bag. And the Defiance band. No, the Hops choice band. Let's get double Hops card here. Next, the Hops bag card is played. Let's see what that card does right quick. I think it just searched for two Hops Pokemon to put onto the bench or into the hand or something. Search your deck for up to two basic Hops Pokemon and put them onto your bench, then shuffle your deck. So find the Hops Zacian EX and the Hops Snorlax. Attach a Hops Choice Band to the Hops Zacian EX. We can attack with the Zacian now. Has a Tatsugiri. Free retreats thanks to that rescue board into the Hops Zacian EX. And then the Hops Zacian can use its Insta Strike attack for free. It will be doing 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 120 damage because of the Postwick, the Choice Band, the Hop Snorlax. You could use that attack for free because of the Hop's Choice Band. 120 into the Pheasantipede is not enough to take the KO. So then our Zoroark player simply has to attach a Reversal Energy to the active to pay retreat to go into the Zoroark EX, and then the Zoroark EX can move up and use its Night Joker attack to copy the bench ends Darmanitan Flame Body Cannon attack. 90 damage to the active, and then discard all energy from this Pokemon, and this attack also does 90 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon, cleaning up the KO on the bench Tatsugiri with that 90 damage since it only has 70 HP for the last prize card of the game. Man, we got there in this sloppy free play game, didn't we? But that was pretty cool, though, as our players got to showcase the trainers decks and the optimal, or what they think at least were the optimal lines there. Thank you for your patience, and what do you think of this video in the commentary? Please leave feedback in the comments. Like this video, subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching. Thank you to our players for letting their game be captured so we can all learn and enjoy. And I'll see you next time in the Professor's Lab.